have taken care to guard against that eventuality. I've written 2 books on the subject, and I'm leaving it as a present to the Oxford Union. Dear friends, if you have the moment, read them. You might benefit from them. We had the case for the proposition opened by Mr. Marshall. He was hilarious. he opened his salvo by giving a quotation from the cover of my book, Trotskyism. Firstly, as they used to say, in the case of credit cards, credit where credit is due. Thank you very much for the wonderful advertisement that you gave my book. I'm sure there are plenty in the audience who would be interested to inquire further. But that quotation had as much relevance to this debate as that epitomized by the Russian saying, "There's a bush in our garden and my uncle is in Kiev." Both may be true, but one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. Yes, I have said that. I own that. I'm very proud to have said that. I'm not ashamed of quoting that very great person who did so much for the international proletariat, Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin. I'm very happy about that. But that quotation had nothing to do with the question whether capitalism can save the world or not. Capitalism, at one stage, played a very historically important and progressive role. It got rid of feudalism, it got rid of rural idiocy, it made it possible for the productive forces to develop, whereby society could produce more than it actually needed. There was a justification for exploitation at one time because humanity did not produce enough by way of a surplus to make it possible for everybody to be able to have a happier life. Capitalism got rid of that position, it increased the productive forces, it created a world market, it made it possible for progress to be made in the last 200 years, which humanity hasn't done throughout its entire existence before. But there's time for everything. Time will come at 11:30, when we must go home. We cannot insist on staying in this chamber. Capitalism has had its time, and it's time for capitalism to go. Ever since 1825, the productive forces have developed to such an extent that they are out of control of the people who run them. Capitalism has the capacity to produce as though there is no tomorrow, but at the same time, whatever is produced, huge amounts of it must go as a tribute to the owners of the means of production and distribution, which means working people are too poor to buy the things that are produced. And that creates, on a regular basis, crisis of capitalism. Capital does not produce unless and until it can make a soft buck. When you listen to people like Mr. Marshall, they say they're running a hedge fund. The average person is deluded into thinking they're running some kind of an environmental project. No, they're not. They're racketeers who are out to exploit and screw anybody around. That's what they're after. Under capitalism, the means of production cannot be used to produce unless and until they have first been converted into capital. Which means the capitalist must be able to make some money out of that. And if the working people are poor and they cannot buy the product produced by capitalism, then there is a crisis of capitalism. I actually admire the audacity of these people that at a time when financial giants are collapsing, housing market is slumping, the stock market is plunging, and capitalists have to be bailed out by the government. They have the temerity to come and say here, capitalism can save the world and socialism has nothing to offer. Do not talk to me about what benefits capitalism brings. Do not talk to me about the freedom of the market. No, I'm not accepting any interruption. being a Stalinist, I do not like interrupting. I know you are students, some of you students even of economics at this august university. And the bourgeois professors are constantly telling you about the freedom of the market. Freedom of the market disappeared about 1890 or the turn of the century. Certainly by the year 1900, the freedom market had disappeared. What you had since then was a monopoly. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are controlled by a monopoly. You get up in the morning and you go into the bathroom and you look in the mirror. That's produced by a monopoly. You come out of the bathroom, you have some cereal that's produced by a monopoly, Procter & Gamble or somebody else. You go to work in the car, you are driving a car that's produced by a monopoly. You listen to the radio. You can't do that, I haven't started. That's produced by monopoly. You come home, no, I'm not accepting any interruption from you. I didn't interrupt you and I'm not accepting interruption from you. You come home, you have some drink which is produced by monopoly. You go to bed, that's produced by monopoly. After 40 years of servitude to capitalism, you drop dead and you are carried in a hearse which probably is run by a monopoly. That is monopoly capitalism. But that's not just because it's monopoly. Monopoly capitalism has certain characteristics. It came on the stage at a time when all the world had already been divided up. Capitalists fight with each other in order to get the maximum share of the world's loot. And if the world is already divided up, it can only be redivided. There are no empty parts as at the time of the scramble of Africa at the end of the 19th century. And that's what caused the ding-dong. We started a serious business when the president of the union led you to pay homage to those who died in the First World War. I'm surprised that neither my side nor the other side has referred to the question, why did so many millions die in the First and the Second World War? Because the capitalists of the major countries were fighting each other over the loot of the world and they were prepared to kill 100 million people in the two world wars. That's the price of your freedom of the market. That's what we are paying. An outmoded system is trying to live, and it lives by torturing people. You go around the world. So Mr. Stringfellow said, I want money, money is good. Yes, if everybody in the world could be a capitalist, wouldn't it be a wonderful world? They'd have the freedom that Mr. Stringfellow has. But they don't. 1 billion people in the world live on less than $1 a day. I ask any member of the audience, especially the managers of hedge funds, to live on less than $1 a day. 2 billion people live on less than $2 a day. 1 billion people in the world are illiterate. 1 billion people do not have their housing needs met adequately. Even in the richest countries like the United States of America, 14 million people have no health cover at all. 13 million people, 13 million children in this world die every year of malnutrition and malnutrition-related diseases in their mother's arms. There are no, absolutely not. There are no people going with guns killing them. It's capitalism that kills them. 13 million people are 2.5 times the Holocaust committed by the Nazis against the Jews. We quite rightly condemn the Nazis. We quite rightly have the Holocaust Remembrance Day. But is it not right that we should remember the Holocaust that's perpetrated every year by monopoly capitalism? That's what capitalism is. None of them could refer to the virtues of capitalism beyond 1825. They all talk of the past. Yes, of course, any fool knows capitalism is better than feudalism. We're not looking backwards. Nobody's trying to go to feudalism here. There's nobody mad enough in this society who wants to take you back to feudalism. We're trying to go forward. And the way forward is not feudalism. The way forward is socialism. Yes, I am a defender of the Soviet Union. Unlike the young comrade there who misguided through the slogans of Trotskyism, I defend everything that the Soviet Union did under the period of Stalin. There's nothing for the working class to be ashamed of. To provide creche and nurseries for young people, to get rid of unemployment, to provide high culture and scientific achievement, and to play a major part in defeating the allegedly invincible Nazi war machine. These are the achievements of socialism, and I'm very proud to be associated with that. Unlike the proposition, sometimes bourgeois journalists can be very candid. I want to read you, I'm going to avoid doing that, but I'd just like to read to you a little quotation by a reactionary American journalist. His name is Thomas Friedman. You all know him, don't you? He's everywhere, precisely because he's reactionary. That's what he says. He says, and they talk of globalization like it's easy travel, easy passport, easy money. That's not what globalization is. He said, for globalization to work, America can't be afraid to act like the almighty superpower that it is. The hidden hand of the market will never work without a hidden fist. McDonald's cannot flourish without McDonnell Douglas, designer of F-15 aircraft. And the hidden fist that keeps the world safe for Silicon Valley's technology is called the United States Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps. This is the reality of capitalism. I am surprised that neither my side nor the other side mentioned the freedoms of capitalism. American and British imperialism have killed 1 million Iraqis since 2003 in Iraq. They have killed tens of thousands of people in Afghanistan in the name of liberal humanitarianism and liberal interventionism. This is not liberal interventionism. It's imperialism trying to grab the resources of the people from the Middle East right up to Central Asia and the former republics of the Soviet Union. That's what capitalism is doing. This question of whether capitalism is better or socialism, I hate to disappoint you. I do not think that you are not worthy enough to decide that. Will not be decided in a debating society room like this. It will be decided in the arena of class struggle, where 5 billion out of 6 billion of world's people have a wretched existence. Capitalism cannot save them. Take a poor country like Cuba. It's blockaded by that monster United States imperialism. And despite the difficulties it has, it's able to provide free childcare, free education up to any level, and free medical health care. And there's nobody who is illiterate. No, I'm not accepting any interruption. You know I'm a Stalinist. It's able to provide all that. And is it not shame that people in this country, the richest country, one of the 3 or 4 richest countries in the world, which has had the benefit of exploiting the whole world for 300 years, is asking its students to pay tuition fees, asking poor people to pay boarding while they are at university, and putting them in positions where when they come out of the university, they have debts of 15, 20, 30, 40,000 pounds at a time, when there is not hope in the hell that they'll be managing more hedge funds that Mr. Marshall mentioned. The fact of the matter is, capitalism has absolutely nothing to deliver. There's only one weapon, and that is socialism. The people of the world have to accept that they either go forward or they go backward. They either accept the life under capitalism and eke out a miserable existence, or alternatively, they pick up the new weapon of Marxism-Leninism, get rid of imperialism and capitalism, and move forward to a happier life. Thank you.